We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. Her name was Celeste Vaughn. To the world, she was the portrait of fulfillment. An elegant woman in her early 40s who lived in a sun-drenched colonial home, nestled on a tree-lined street in a quiet Boston suburb. She had 2 beautiful daughters, a thriving garden, and a husband everyone admired. Her life looked like the kind that Hallmark movies were made of. But stillness doesn't always mean peace. Something had begun to shift deep inside her. It didn't come as a thunderbolt. It came quietly. An itch. A question. Was this it? Was she done being seen, being desired, being alive? Her husband, Marcus Vaughn, was a man of principle. Steady, soft-spoken, brilliant. He built a tech support firm from the ground up and still fixed their daughters' laptops on Sunday mornings in his robe. Celeste never once caught him looking at another woman. He worshipped her, and she respected him, even loved him. But something was missing. It started with small things. Her gaze lingering too long on a charismatic consultant at work, Trent Callahan. A man 10 years her junior with sun-touched hair and a mischievous grin. He was witty, effortlessly confident, and didn't carry the weight of fatherhood or mortgage payments behind his eyes. One conversation turned into 2. Harmless flirting turned into full-blown, emotional intoxication. The first kiss didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like oxygen after years of quiet suffocation. By the time she undressed in that conference room, curtains pulled, door locked, it wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. They collapsed onto the sleek table, limbs tangled like starved lovers. After, she stared into the ceiling, flushed and shaking, realizing she crossed into territory there was no coming back from. She went home and lay next to Marcus that night, like nothing had changed. But everything had. And Marcus? He noticed. He always noticed. He just didn't say it out loud. Celeste's dual life stretched over weeks. Secret hotel rooms, burner phones, lies woven with the precision of a master seamstress. To the world, she was still the perfect wife and mother. Behind the veil, she was a woman dancing with disaster and loving every second of it. Then came the weekend that flipped everything. Marcus found a message, an unsent draft in her private email. She'd meant to delete it. She forgot. I can still feel your hands on me, Trent. The way you whisper my name like a secret. I want more. God help me. That night, Marcus didn't rage. He didn't cry. He tucked the girls into bed, kissed Celeste's forehead, and silently stepped into his office. He poured himself a glass of scotch and made 2 calls. One to a private investigator. One to his attorney. He wasn't just hurt. He was calculating. He was going to destroy her. Slowly, thoroughly, with the kind of patience that only a man with restraint could summon. By Monday morning, Marcus had everything he needed. The investigator had followed Celeste for 3 weeks. The report was meticulous. Timestamps, video clips, hotel receipts, even photos of Trent and Celeste in a deep embrace at a gas station off Route 6. The final nail? Security footage from the company's executive suite. Grainy, but clear. Enough to cost her more than her reputation. He didn't confront her that night. He didn't shout, didn't throw the photos in her face. He waited. He observed. And when Celeste finally said the words, "Marcus, I need some space. Maybe even a trip, just for me, to find myself again," he merely nodded. "Take all the space you need." She blinked, confused. "You're okay with that?" Of course. It was the calm that terrified her most. Celeste left 3 days later for the Caribbean cruise Trent had booked, convinced she had Marcus under control. But back home, things were shifting. Marcus set the girls down. Eva, 18, already skeptical of her mother's late nights, and Nora, 16, quiet but observant. He told them everything. The affair, the deception, and the plan. They didn't cry. They didn't scream. Eva simply asked, "How soon can we move out?" Nora nodded. "Mom's not coming back, is she?" Not to the life she knew. While Celeste danced under moonlight on an upper deck, Marcus moved funds. He sealed off joint accounts, protected the college savings, and sold their second car. He contacted HR at both his and Celeste's companies, anonymously, at first. Trent had been sleeping with a married woman during business hours. A formal complaint would trigger an internal probe. Marcus didn't have to shout. He just had to pull the right thread. He even called Trent's wife, Marissa, a woman he had never met, but who answered the phone after 2 rings, kids yelling in the background. "You should sit down," Marcus had said. Marissa didn't even cry. "I knew it. I just couldn't prove it." The next morning, Trent's belongings were tossed onto the lawn. Marcus was building a storm, and when Celeste returned, sun-kissed and giddy, ready to pretend nothing had changed, she found the locks changed, the girls gone, and an envelope on the porch. Inside, divorce papers. A note in Marcus's tidy handwriting. "Don't worry about knocking. You're not locked out. You're just no longer welcome in." The neighbors watched as she stood on the porch, suitcase by her side, trembling in the late evening chill. Nobody offered her shelter. Nobody offered a glance. Word had spread like wildfire. Marcus hadn't said a word to the world. He didn't have to. Celeste scrambled. She tried calling Marcus. No answer. She texted the girls. Left on read. She called Trent. Straight to voicemail. Eventually, she found a cheap motel on the edge of town. The walls were thin. The faucet screamed. The mattress felt like cardboard. Her dreams were worse. In her solitude, she finally began to reflect, but not out of remorse. Out of fear. Marcus wasn't just ending the marriage. He was erasing her. She wasn't prepared for what came next. Celeste sat on the edge of the motel bed, knees drawn to her chest, mascara smudged like war paint. It had been 48 hours since her world collapsed. 48 hours since she learned that Marcus was not the passive, mild-mannered man she had spent years underestimating. She called him again. Voicemail. "Marcus, please. I don't even know where the girls are. I never meant for it to go this far. Call me back, please." The only answer was silence. She opened the folder of divorce papers he had left. The terms were cold, clinical, brutal. Marcus wasn't just ending things. He was making sure she left with nothing but guilt and a suitcase full of regret. He had claimed full custody, and based on the investigator's report he attached, there was no judge in the state of Massachusetts who would argue otherwise. Attached were photos. One in particular made her chest cave inward. A shot of her laughing with Trent in a towel, her wedding ring still on. And below that, a typed list of property reassignments. Joint accounts, closed. Emergency savings, transferred. College funds, secured and sealed. Real estate. Marcus retains full residence. Spousal support, none requested. Grounds for divorce, abandonment, infidelity. There was also a subtle threat, typed at the bottom in that same polite, serif font. Should you challenge custody or make any public statements, the footage will be submitted to family court and possibly the press. Her vision blurred, not just from tears, from shock. Celeste Vaughn, the woman who had once led finance meetings in heels sharper than her wit, was now officially checkmated by the very man she thought would crumble without her. She didn't eat that night. Meanwhile, Marcus was thriving, quietly. He'd moved into a rental townhouse with the girls. It wasn't as spacious as their old home, but it felt warm, safe. There was laughter in the kitchen again. Music played during dinner prep. And most nights, Marcus took a walk with Eva or helped Nora finish her physics homework. He had resumed therapy, something he neglected for years. The therapist, a soft-spoken man named Dr. Feldman, told him something that stuck. Forgiveness is not a gift for the person who hurt you. It's the armor you wear so they can't hurt you anymore. Marcus wasn't there yet, but he was getting close. He had already changed the locks on the house, cleared out every trace of Celeste, donated her clothes, boxed the photos. Only one remained, a picture of the girls on the front lawn, holding a sign that said, "Welcome home, Daddy." It stayed in his wallet. Celeste, meanwhile, tried to cling to whatever scraps of her life were left. Her job had quietly terminated her on the grounds of conduct unbecoming. She fought it, but the company had airtight internal codes, and Marcus had already shared damning proof with HR. Trent had been let go the same week. The affair had spread through the office like a virus. Her LinkedIn profile was flooded with awkward silence. Even her friends stopped replying. She tried calling one of them, Rachel, her old Pilates partner. "You lied to us, Cel. You talked about Marcus like he was boring, but that man worshipped you. You said you were soul-searching. Turns out you were just hotel hopping." Click. Celeste finally reached out to Marissa, Trent's now ex-wife. Marissa's voice was surprisingly calm. "You didn't just blow up your life, Celeste. You made sure you scorched mine in the process. But don't worry. I'm healing. I hope someday you can say the same." Late one night, Celeste found herself scrolling through photos on her phone. A family picnic. Marcus kissing her temple while Nora chased fireflies. Eva asleep on a beach chair, freckles dusted across her cheeks. She had everything, and traded it for a man who hadn't even answered her texts in 4 days. Her phone buzzed. A single message from Trent. "Can I stay with you tonight?" Got nowhere else to go. She stared at the screen. Typed. Erased. Typed again. Then turned off her phone. The following morning, Celeste stood in front of the cracked motel mirror, brushing her hair with robotic strokes. Each strand caught and tugged against the brush's teeth, but she barely noticed. Her reflection was unfamiliar. A woman with shadows beneath her eyes, skin dulled from stress, and a mouth that barely remembered how to smile. The vibrant, admired Celeste was gone. In her place stood the consequence. Her phone buzzed again. "Trent, I'm outside. I brought coffee." She didn't answer. Instead, she opened the blinds just a crack and peered out. Sure enough, he stood there in jeans and a wrinkled jacket, holding a cardboard tray with 2 cups. The same grin that once made her blush now looked desperate. "Hello." She opened the door, but didn't invite him in. "Why are you here?" "I didn't have anywhere else to go," he said, eyes searching her face. Marissa changed the locks. "My brother won't even speak to me. You're all I've got left." Those words might have felt romantic once. Now they felt like shackles. "I'm not your sanctuary, Trent," she muttered. "I can't even save myself. But we had something real, didn't we?" Celeste shook her head slowly, voice barely above a whisper. "We had adrenaline. Secrets. Fantasy. Not real." He exhaled hard. "So that's it. You're cutting me off too." She looked up, tears threatening again. "My life is rubble, Trent. And all we did was hand each other matches." He took a step closer, desperate now. "I love you." "No, you don't," she snapped, voice trembling. "You love the version of me that cheated, that lied, that threw away 20 years of loyalty for cheap thrills and perfume-covered shame." She didn't close the door gently. That night, she sat in silence, TV off, phone off, thoughts spinning endlessly. It wasn't just Marcus she had betrayed. It was herself. Somewhere deep inside, she'd always known that affair wasn't about Trent. It was about her reflection, about needing to feel seen again, wanted, but she had miscalculated the cost. And Marcus? He wasn't done. Across town, Marcus stood at the head of a family dinner, candles flickering, a soft classical playlist playing in the background, laughter filling the air like music. Eva had made pasta from scratch. Nora shared a story about a boy who slipped in the cafeteria and pretended it was parkour. Their lives were blossoming, without Celeste. But Marcus hadn't forgotten. Forgiveness wasn't healing. It was strategy. He'd retained one final card. A video. He hadn't shown it in court. Not yet. He didn't need to. But should Celeste attempt to manipulate public opinion or return to their lives with a performance of remorse, he'd be ready. It wasn't blackmail. It was insurance. He didn't want to ruin her further. But he also didn't trust her anymore. He received a letter that evening. Typed. No return address. The writing unmistakably hers. "Marcus, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to read this. But I need you to know that I remember. I remember every time you made my tea the way I liked it. Every time you fixed something before I even asked. Every note you left on the bathroom mirror. Every joke that made me laugh too loud in public. You didn't deserve what I did. You were not boring. I was bored of myself. And in trying to find validation elsewhere, I lost everything that made me someone worth loving. Tell the girls I'm proud of them, and that they're stronger than I ever was. As for me, I'll find a way to live with what I did. I won't come near your home. I won't fight the terms. I won't poison the air anymore. You win. Celeste." Marcus folded the letter neatly and placed it in a drawer, beneath birth certificates and old anniversary cards. He didn't cry, not because he didn't feel something, but because he'd already done his grieving during the quietest nights when she was still sleeping beside him, body present but soul somewhere else. Celeste moved into a smaller apartment the next week. A single bedroom with a broken heater and chipped countertops. She took a job at a nearby hospital as a billing coordinator, far from her days in high-end finance. Each day, she wore a mask of normalcy, smiled at coworkers, learned how to microwave dinner for one, and every night, she lay in bed, reliving memories that came with no warning. A song, a smell, the girls' laughter echoing in old videos. And Marcus, always Marcus, his calm voice, the way he held her hand in silence after hard days. She used to think his stillness was weakness. Now she knew it was strength. One afternoon, weeks later, she stood in line at the grocery store and spotted Marcus with another woman. She was tall, graceful, silver-streaked hair tied back in a soft braid. She leaned into Marcus when she laughed. He touched her lower back gently, intimately. They looked happy. Celeste turned her cart sharply and left without buying anything. Outside, she leaned against her car, hands shaking. That's when it truly hit her. She hadn't just lost a man. She had lost the man. 3 months passed. Celeste never called again. She knew Marcus had moved on. The woman from the grocery store? Her name was Rachel Dempsey, a high school English teacher. Divorced. Honest. Kind. She and Marcus weren't rushing anything, but the comfort between them was natural. No pretense. No lies. The girls liked her. That's what broke Celeste most. Not that Marcus was rebuilding, but that her daughters were okay without her. She still tried to stay in touch. A birthday message here. A thinking of you note there. Eva responded once, with a simple, "We're doing well. Please don't text anymore." Celeste didn't reply. She got up each morning, made her coffee, rode the subway to the hospital, did her job, walked home, ate alone, slept alone. She wasn't poor. She wasn't homeless. But she was forgotten. The world moved on, and it didn't take her with it. One night, she found an old wedding album. She flipped through it slowly. There was Marcus, younger, smiling with his whole heart. She touched the photo lightly. "I ruined you," she whispered to no one. Across the city, Marcus sat with Rachel on the back porch of their townhouse. He laughed more now, slept better. The house was filled with warmth again. He never showed anyone the video. He never sent it to the press. He didn't need to. His silence was louder than revenge, and more powerful.